Good evening, everybody. Eimear Burke here. Welcome to Tea with the Druid 143, brought to you by the Order of Bards, Ovates and Druids. And just see if anyone is here yet. Just let me know that you've joined me. Hi, from Tuscany, Italy. Jeannot, lovely. Hi, John King from Scotland. Welcome. Kika from Slovakia, lovely. Hi, Ellie. Dave from Canada and Winnipeg, lovely. Great. This is lovely to see you all here. Great. Hi from Vienna and Fife. Hi, Philip. That's there. And lovely. That's great. Anyway, you're all very welcome this evening. And I don't have a story for once. But what I would like to do is, I've been mulling over this idea of moderation. And I think many of you would agree that moderation is seen as a virtue, and it's associated with collaboration, reasonableness, diversity, and just looking at, you know, all the places that you're from all over the world, that we welcome diversity within the order. It's around fairness, it's around tolerance, constraint, compromise, collaboration. So, somebody from Brittany, good, a Carcassonne, lovely. Oh, it's P for Penny. Welcome, Penny. I've just seen this. Magical Portugal, lovely. Romania, wonderful. Okay, so I'm sure many of you would like to regard yourself as moderate. I do. And I, for example, think that's a very good, as a strength of mine as a leader. But I also see it as a weakness. And I'll give you an example. There have been times where I'm at a debate and I have to decide, you know, who's the winner, or at a committee meeting where we have to vote on something. And I listen to the first speaker and I'm really convinced, yes, they make a very valid point. I think I'm going to vote that way. And then I listen to the next speaker and they're equally valid. And I think, oh, I think I might vote that way. And then I find myself swinging back and forth, looking at the validity of both sides, but I'm not able to choose. And I can find that very, very frustrating. So there are times when we need to take a stand or take a side, and other times where we take the middle ground. And from one of the ancient manuscripts here in Ireland, we have the instructions of King Cormac MacArt, giving instructions to his son Carbara about what it is to be a king. And he advises moderation, where he says, be not too wise nor too foolish, be not too talkative nor too silent, be not too conceited nor too diffident, be not too hard nor too feeble, be not too haughty nor too humble. So that's very much the midline to take. And even Aristotle in his virtue ethics, and he talks about, you know, referring to the golden mean, and he sees virtue as lying, being the midpoint between two vices. So, for example, you have love between apathy and obsession, or you have courage between cowardice and recklessness, and you have justice between anarchy and, for example, authoritarianism. And I think it's very, very hard to argue against those. However, I have a question, and I don't know how you might feel, and I'm afraid to click on any of these comments, because sometimes they get stuck on the screen. Anyway, but I'm interested in what your views are. Is moderation always a good thing? Thomas Paine says that a thing moderately good is not as good as it ought to be. And he says, moderation and temper is always a virtue, but moderation and principle is always a vice. I cannot believe this. Excuse me. My apologies for this. I have my phone on silent. I don't know how this is happening. I am going to have to switch my phone off. Apologies for this. I remember this happening to Penny at the beginning. I remember throwing the phone out of the room. I'm going to see if I can do this. Not throw out of the room, but slide to power off. Okay. Apologies for that. Now, where was I? Yes, when moderation and temper is always a virtue, but moderation and principle is always a vice. And I know we sometimes joke about, I've heard this attributed to many people, but I don't know actually who said it, was, moderation and everything, including moderation or especially moderation. But are there times when the moderate standpoint isn't good? I see somebody here, moderation and principle is not really good. People often could shift it the way they see fit without regard to others. That's a good point. And I'm not sure I understand what you mean by moderation. Sometimes you make a stand and hold your convictions and be true to yourself and your beliefs. And I think moderation means not too much nor too little. Yes. So it's an interesting one because, for example, patience is a virtue, and too much patience can become, procrastination and inaction. And then that phrase, and I'm paraphrasing it because I don't have the original one and it's attributed to many people, all it takes for evil to prevail is for good people to do nothing. So there is a time to stand up and be counted. And Barry Goodwater says extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice, and moderation in the pursuit of justice is no virtue. And that is, I think, a big wake-up call. And when we look at recent events, and I'm talking about in the past few years, for many years we've been talking about climate change and the damage that's been done, and people in many ways speaking with a moderate voice. And then more recently, we now have a climate emergency and people are speaking a much stronger language. They're standing up, shaking us out of our complacency, giving us a big wake-up call. I mean, there are some narratives, around, is COVID a wake-up call from nature about what we've been doing and the damage we've been doing? And then we've had, wake-up calls about civil rights abuses, etc., in terms of gender and sexual diversity or racism. And taking a moderate view about that when we see people being abused is hardly a good thing. However, when we look sometimes with social media, we're actually looking, the discourse often, there are extremist views expressed and a lot of anger. So you've got extreme left and extreme right. And normally they're poles apart. But recently they've been coming together, like almost in a horseshoe shape and getting closer and closer. And what they're doing is attacking people who are taking a moderate stand. And moderation isn't an easy thing. So on one hand, if you don't stand up and be counted, that's wrong. But also, being moderate doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you're being wishy-washy. It doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean you're being passive. Sometimes that is the voice of reason. So when we have all these aggression on social media and people attacking each other, there's no listening, there's no dialogue. And that we need to be able to hear both perspectives in order to reach some kind of resolution. Like St. Augustine, I hope you don't mind, he describes moderation as not being easy. He says complete abstinence is easier than perfect moderation. Some of you might recognize that, those of you who can't open a box of chocolates without eating all of them. So it's either all or nothing. Aristotle talked about feelings and how it's difficult to be moderate about feelings, that to have the right feelings with the right person at the right time, to the right extent, etc. excuse me. So if we want to bring about resolution around justice, around climate, around human rights, etc., having extreme views are not going to get us anywhere. We need to bring in moderation. I don't know, would you agree with that? Aristotle, I'm going to quote him again, says, virtue of justice consists in moderation as regulated by wisdom. I'm a moderate. The trick is deciphering which side is the best one for the masses. It's a good question. Yes, and I'm afraid I can't see any more comments. So so apologies, I'm not ignoring you. So I am. So if we're not moderate, where does that get us in these times? And I would like to invite you to engage in a meditation with me. So just sit back in front of your screens and get comfortable. And when you're ready, I invite you just to close your eyes. I'm going to be doing a little bit of reading, so my eyes will be closed for a while and then they will be open. So just become aware of your body sitting in the chair in front of your screen, feeling the floor beneath your feet supporting you. And bring your awareness to your breath. Following your in-breath as it enters your body, and following your out-breath as it leaves your body. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Remember, with every in-breath, there are possibilities, and with every out-breath, there's a letting go. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. And now, I would like you to imagine that you're outside in nature. And it's a beautiful sunny day, and the sky is a brilliant blue with white puffy clouds, and the sun is shining, and the temperature is just right. And there's a gentle breeze blowing in your hair and against your skin. And you see ahead of you a forest. And I invite you to walk towards that forest. And you see a pathway ahead of you leading into the forest, and you sense an invitation to go within. And you enter the forest, and you sense its magic. And you walk along the path, and you look around you, and you notice all the colors, the many shades of green, and the leaves and the trees, the browns. Maybe you see the sun shining through the trees. Maybe you see the sky through the canopy. Just notice everything you can see. And bring your awareness now to everything you can hear. The sound of the wind as it rustles through the leaves. The sounds of birdsong as they call out to each other. The sounds of the insects as they buzz around you. And be aware of the smells, the smell of the trees, the smell of green, the smell of the woods, the smell of the earth. Maybe the perfume of some flowers. Be aware of the tastes. Can you taste in the air? And become aware of the texture beneath your feet, the texture of the earth. As you walk along that path. And then you stop. Bring your awareness to the soles of your feet as it connects to the earth and the energy of the earth. And you sense or you feel the earth's energy, and you draw it up through the soles of your feet, up through your legs, up into your body. And sense it, feel it, or seeing it spiraling, swirling around your body. Feeling yourself energized, empowered, strengthened by the energy of the earth. And then you look upwards, and through the canopy of the trees, you can see the blue of the sky and a few white clouds moving by. And you can sense that energy of the sky, the sun, the moon and stars, and you draw that energy down through the top of your head into your body, and sensing it or feeling it swirling, spiraling around your body as it meets the energy of the earth. And those two energies connect and spiral around your body, filling every cell. And you're sensing the magic and the energy and the strength of the earth and the sky. And you start to walk again along that path. And then you come to a fork in the path. These two paths diverge. And you choose to walk on one of them. Choose the right one for you. And you begin to walk along that path. And you walk until you come to a little clearing. And you can see a ray of sunlight shining from the sky down onto a patch of grass right beside a tree. And you walk over to that tree and sit in that sunlight, feeling held and supported and warmed and nourished by the sun and the strength of the tree at your back and the earth supporting you. And you sit down there and you become aware of a presence. There's somebody else there. And you look up and you see a druid. You see them in their robe. You may be able to see their face, or it may be hidden by their hood. But you sense an invitation from them just to sit there and close your eyes and to listen to what they have to say. Choose to do that which brings you towards the virtue of your being. Do not seek what you cannot know. Do not dwell in what cannot change. If your nature be as rock, move down, go deep. If your nature be as fire, move up, flame with sparks. If your nature be as water, move around, meander. If your nature be as air, expand, fill every corner unseen. Stir your cauldron full with pleasure, sorrow, pain, and joy. Learn the difficult craft of choice. Make your way of being a work of art. Not too much nor too little of any one tint. A finished work of art needs nothing taken away, nothing added. Choose when to be full with pleasure. Choose when to be sure of sorrow. Choose when to grow through pain. Choose when to wallow in joy. Search for the excellence of your being. So easy to have feelings, giving out too much or too little. So difficult to find the center of a circle. So difficult to change a habit to virtue, to straighten a bent willow wand, curve it beyond the mean. Anyone can be angry. This is easy. So difficult with the right person, to the right extent, at the right time, with the right motive, in the right way. This is not easy. Choose to do what brings you towards the virtue of your being. Do not seek what you cannot know. Do not dwell on what cannot change. Seek to be not too little nor too much. Climb the steep path. Stoop to the wind. Navigate the mists towards the virtue of your being. And you open your inner eyes and you give thanks for the message that Druid has given you. And they nod an acknowledgement, and then they leave. And you begin to stand up and look around in this clearing. And it is time to leave and to walk back along that path, carrying with you what you have received. And you walk along until you come to that junction where the other path meets the path you're on. And you walk along until you come to the edge of the forest. You turn back and you look at the forest, giving thanks for all that you've received, knowing you can go back there whenever you wish. And you step out from the forest and you allow your awareness of the forest to fade. Bring your awareness back to yourself in front of the screen, feeling the floor beneath your feet, the seat beneath you. Back physically present, here and now. Take a big deep breath. When you're ready, open your eyes. So that was a poem by my late husband, Howard Campbell, called Aristotle, Howardian Ethics of the Mean after Nicomachus, with thanks to Cormac McCart. And it's from his book, Darkness Shades So Light Can Be. It was a book of poetry that he published just a few weeks before he passed 5 years ago. So that is one of my favorite poems of Howard. So I hope you enjoy that. So thank you all for being here and joining me this evening. I think Philip will be here next week, but I have an announcement to make. In addition to Tea with the Druid, we have other things lined up online, both Philip and I. So I'm going to start a series of fireside chats with Eimear on Thursday evenings at 8 p.m. GMT online. And I'd love for you to join me, where I will be interviewing members of the order. And these are members that may not be known to you, but who are really, really interesting, because I'm really interested in hearing the member stories and the different voices, and to reflect the diversity within the order. So I will be interviewing Druids from all over the world, and thanks to this online process, or these online facilities, that this is possible. So I will be doing that series, and then Philip is going to host a series where he will be interviewing writers about their books. So this, I will hope, will be a very interesting winter for everybody. So I look forward to seeing you. I hope you can join me on Thursday, the 24th of September at 8 p.m. for Fireside Chats with Eimear. So until then, thank you very much for joining me. I am now, once I get off, I'm going to read your comments and then I will respond. And here is my tea. So, Banachti, Connacht an Or, Tív Galer. Blessings for the autumn equinox to all of you in this part of the world. Banachthi, Connacht, and Ari, Jeev, Shisfui. Blessings of the spring equinox to all you down under. Slán go fóill until we meet again. Bye bye.